Hey, this is actually my first time on Facebook Live, so I'm interested in how this thing's going to work. Um, but anyway, I actually said I'm not going to make a video until I really felt like I had something of value to say, and I do, finally. Um, Over the past few years, I have noticed something, and I've noticed that a lot of times when people don't understand God's message or what God's doing, they get angry with him and they write him off, or they even stop believing in God because they lose hope in what he's doing just because they don't understand his process. And I'd like to propose to you that maybe God is trustworthy even when we don't understand his methods. So I just have a little illustration here, and a lot of you may have seen this already, but if you haven't, here you go. When we're born, a lot of times things look like this, and everything looks like it's all together. And if you've lived any length of time, you know it doesn't take long, and it doesn't take much for things to kind of go awry, and things start moving around, and things start looking really chaotic, and we begin to trust people that maybe aren't so trustworthy, and they mess some things up. We lose people in our lives, and a lot of things happen that are out of our control, and before long things start looking a lot like this. And what do you do with this? And a lot of us want to cheat and we want to pull the stickers off, but I want you to know in life that's not how things work. So what do? A lot of times we hand this off to someone who says, oh, I think I can fix this, I think I can do it. But just let me tell you some things about a Rubik's Cube that you may or may not know. And I'm going to sound real nerdy right now, so just bear with me. I do have a point. So a couple things. This is a 3D puzzle. So just like any other puzzle that you see or try to put together, there's only one place for each piece. Each little cube here has one place that it can go, and it be in the right place. So we might try to shove things in, but there's only one place for each piece. And also, just because, let's see, hang on, let me just take a look at this thing. This may look like I can just fit all the green pieces here. None of them are in the right place, because no matter what I move around, the center is actually what does not move. So the center is what determines what color each face is going to be. So this one's going to be orange, this one's going to be white, this one's going to be red, and so on. So you may hand this off to someone who thinks they know what they're doing, but in fact they really don't know. But if you put it in the hands of a master, and no, I'm not a master by any stretch of the imagination, but if you put it in the hands of the master, things can come together pretty quickly. So let's just say that my life is just a complete chaotic mess, and I just decide to put it in the hands of the one that made it in the first place, and I give it to God. He's going to start working through some things, and pretty soon, just bear with me, I'll bring it up so you can see some. Pretty soon we start seeing things begin to come together, and we think, oh man, God is so good, because as long as we understand what he's doing and what he's doing seems to make sense to us, then we're all for what he's doing. But the next step, I'm actually going to make the middle face match. But here's the problem. For me to do that, I gotta mess this up a little bit. And here's where people start to get angry with God, because as soon as things start coming together, he wants to go a little deeper and fix things in the next layer of our life. And that's going to require him to move some things around that maybe we're comfortable with. So here we go. So all right, I have the second layer now, and this is where a lot of people stop, and they start covering things up, and it looks like they have it all together, and it's like, look what God's done, look what he's done in my life. And what a lot of people don't see and what we don't show other people is what's going on here. Things aren't all together, but this is the side that we want people to see, and this is the side that we're comfortable with. And a lot of times this is where just people say, okay, thanks God, I'll take it from here. I want to protect what I have, and I know that for you to really do what you want to do, you're going to have to mess with some things, and I'm not comfortable with you doing that. So they never reach God's perfect plan for their life because this is just too comfortable for them. And they're happy. They can just cover the rest up and live this way and never reach what God wants them to do. But let's just say, hypothetically, that I've said, God, you've taken me this far. I'm going to trust you. Here you go. Please do something with the rest of my life. And so he starts to move some things around. This takes us out of our comfort zone a little bit. May require us to change jobs or to move or to step out and start speaking or make videos and do things that we're not used to doing. And it may require God taking some things out of our life that we like in there because they're just in the way of what he wants to do. Because I'm here to tell you, whoever told you God wanted you to have a good life wasn't entirely truthful with you. God doesn't want you to have a good life. He wants you to have the best life. That means this isn't enough for him. He wants everything together, and he wants to do it in his way and in his time. And when we allow him to go into the deepest level of our life, there's going to be a lot of things that we don't understand. Oh man, so here, if I showed you this, looks like it's completely together. Looks like everything's completely together. But guess what? It's not. There's still a few things that are out of place. And this is where God really messes with our theology. And this is where God really messes with what we think he should do. And this is where we have to acknowledge, God, you're God, and I'm not. And you know what you have to do, so I'm just going to step back and trust your methods. And trust that even though you're shaking things up, you're working all things together for my good. So here we go. And sometimes it takes a little longer than what we like. So we get impatient with God and we just ask him to stop. But if you'll hang on, he's got good plans for you. And at this point, it really looks like God is mixing things up, and it actually mirrors a little more like the beginning, all this chaos. But what you don't realize is God knows exactly what he's doing, and in just a few more steps he can have things together. But here's the thing, he's got to be in the center. He's got to be in the middle. His plan's got to be in the middle, and you got to be in the middle of his will, because he's the one that can determine what you're going to look like, and he's the one that started things. So I just want to encourage you, even though you don't understand God's methods, trust what he's doing, because he knows what he's doing. He's got good plans for you. And Romans 8:28, we all love to quote it. God works all things together for our good, for the good of those who love him and who are the called according to his purpose. So you may not understand God's ways or God's timing or God's methods, but he's very, very faithful, and he's trustworthy. So that's all that I have. I see a lot of people are commenting. I'm going to go and read these, and who knows, I might make a few more of these videos with some more illustrations. We're just going to have to see how this one goes after I watch this back. But, okay, have a great night, everybody.